a Chicago sports fan, but I'm also a fan, you know. And I think a lot of that's missed in team loyalty and all this, that, and the other. Oh, die hard this, die hard that. But you know, you also have to be a fan of the game. You know, fine, you're pulling for your team to win, but if you don't have a general knowledge of the game, you know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. I mean, I've always been a football fan and a Bears fan since '75.
Okay.
You know, my favorite team of that era is the Steelers. I mean, you know, sorry, but they were just dominant. They got to the Super Bowl, they won. You know, that's all there was to it.
It was hard to root against the Steelers in the '70s anyway. It was hard to root against them anyway because they had
you know. And then I was also a big fan of the Bills in the '90s. I mean, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You know, granted, they lost every one of them, but, you know, damn, that was a team. You know, they had Kelly, they had Thomas, they had Reed, and then they had Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett. I mean, great team,
Well, you know, the closest, I think, Dave, for the Bills in the 90s is the Super Bowl that was here in my backyard in Tampa when they lost to the Giants. That was the closest out of 4 of them that they had come to a win, because the other 3, they were killed twice by the Cowboys, and they beat handily.
And they got beat by the Skins in one of those too. Yeah, it's funny it's funny, the Giants players, even from that Super Bowl, were like, dude, they were wearing us out.
Yeah.
They were wearing us out. I mean, we couldn't, they you know, Giants players to a man were like, we couldn't stop them when they got to offense. You know, it was just impossible. And it's an offense, coincidentally, I think the Bears should run. But, you know, I'm not the offensive guy, dude. I think they should run, and I think the Bears should run a no-huddle offense or something very similar.
Well,
I think it would really help, but, you know.
Well, and it's funny, Dave, that you bring that up, because not a lot of teams in the NFL run the no-huddle offense. You see it a lot in college football, but you don't see it a lot in the pros. And I don't know why, because you could legitimately in the pros, the game is faster. We all know they're faster, stronger players. We all know that as being football fans as long as we've been. But here's the point that I have with that is you can wear someone down by running a no-huddle offense. You can wear your defense down by not letting them substitute, not be able to catch their breath. You don't.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Right.
That's the whole thing with running a no-huddle. You know, there's no time for a defense to sub your players in. You can't slow the game down. But then there's a lot of teams that do that now I fell on the ground, I have an injury, oh God, you know. And then, you know, you got a minute and a half break. And it's another thing that I think should be outlawed, kind of like flopping in the NBA. I mean, you know, and they have that in hockey now too. You know, if you go down and there's nothing that happened there, you can get penalized for that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and then they have an embellishment penalty, you know, set up now. So if you embellish by falling over or falling for it, they can throw you in the box for that. I mean,
there's so many times. I mean, I've seen, you know, like LeBron James take a charge, and it's just like, dude, really? Like a couple of years ago, they played the Bulls. They played the Bulls a couple of years ago, and I don't think it was Paxson. I think it was Heinrich that was going up for a layup, and LeBron was covering, and then all of a sudden he stopped, and charging on Heinrich. I'm like, charging? And he literally fell to the floor like a truck hit him. And it's like, wait a minute, dude, Heinrich's like 6'2", 212. You're 6'8", 280. Come on, man. How hard did he hit you?
Yeah,
but
I'll be honest with you, Dave. You know, when it comes to pro basketball, I'm not a huge NBA fan. I cover it because I have a show that I'm on Monday nights that they talk a lot about it. And I have to kind of keep up with it. But I'm more of a college basketball fan than I am an NBA fan. But as far as like rankings for me when it comes to sports, for me it's football and hockey. And that's just me. I mean, those two for me, that's what I look forward to every year. And it doesn't matter what level of football either. It could be high school, college, or pros. But hockey, we're in the midst of hockey season. And that's why I'm on today instead of usually being on my show on Thursday, because I'll be at the Lightning game Thursday night. But I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just me. I mean, I've been just like you. I've been a sports fan for most of my life, or all my life, should I say.
Right. And it really doesn't matter. Yeah, and hockey, man, you can talk about concussions all you want, but hockey players are a whole nother breed.
Yeah.
Hockey players are like next level tough. I mean, and I'm a Blackhawks fan. You look back in one of the championship series, and Duncan Keith took a puck to the face, knocked out 7 of his teeth, went back, got him sewed up, and then 5 minutes later was back on the ice. That's incredible. Sorry, dude. That's, like I said, that's next level tough.
Dave, do you remember the 2003 Stanley Cup Finals between the Devils and the Ducks? They were the Mighty Ducks. Paul Kariya got knocked out by Scott Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
And what did he do? He came back in overtime and had the overtime goal.
Yeah.
I mean, hockey players are different. Like you said, they're a different breed of athletes. They are. And they have to be. I mean, they have to be. You see some of those board checks, man, and it's not like they're floating in there and hitting you like, oh, excuse me. No, they're flying into you, and they're crushing you into the boards, and they're another team that they wear padding, but it's not that much, dude. We're only talking about 1/4-inch thick pads. Sorry. I mean, they might be cushioning the flow a little bit, but not much. And if you look at their salaries. They're one of the least.
Yeah.
God. As far as money-wise goes, hockey players don't get paid anything like baseball players get paid. And talk about guys that should be making $30 million a year. There you go.
Hockey players should be making $30 million a year. I think the highest salary right now in hockey is like $10 million a year, and it's like, really? I want some more. I want some more. I want to get paid like a baseball player, like an NBA player. I'll tell you what, the NBA can end up pricing the fan right out of the game. This whole Supermax contract deal, that's not good. It's great for the players, but it's not good for your common fan.
Right.
And I see a lot of that happening in other sports as well. Football, it's starting to happen. Baseball, it's already been happening. I mean, you can't even take it. You have a family of 4, and it's a $200 expenditure.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
and it's just like, dude, really? I mean, because I can remember my grandfather took me to my first baseball game, and I think we spent $50, and he was drinking beers.
Yeah. Well, and see, the funny thing about it now is you can go to a baseball game now for what? I don't drink myself, but I mean, for example, if you go to a baseball game now, what does it cost you? $20 for a beer? I don't even know what it costs now.
It's like $11 for a beer. I mean, if you take a family of 4 and get everybody a hot dog and everybody a drink, that's $200 right there.
Yeah, that's.
And it's just outrageous.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with them. I think now with millennials, all they want to do is stay home. They don't want to go out and do anything anymore. But I guess what they're going to, as we all know, I think we're on the brink of it, is we're going to be able to gamble all throughout the United States, not just in Vegas and a few of the places where sports gambling seems to be very popular. I've heard, Dave, I've heard through what I've read online, and again, you can't believe everything you read online, as we all know, but they're starting to have some kind of way of you going to the stadium. Okay, for example, you're going to a Bears game, okay? And you get a ticket. So you go into the stadium, and now you can go in there and bet on who's going to win the coin toss and who's going to win the game. And if the line is, let's say the line's 3.5, and you can go in the stadium now and put a bet down, that will entice the sports fan or the gambling sports fan to go to the stadium and go, hey, now we got 8 games. Now I can go to these games, and I don't have, not just specifically just the Bears game. I can bet on all of the games that are going on.
I can bet on all the games.
So that's an enticement for me not to stay at home, but to go to the game now. So it's another thing that the gamblers are trying to get you to get away from the home. Instead of being at home where it's comfortable for you and you don't have to pay for parking or a ticket or, souvenir,
right, and all those
and all that stuff, they're going to entice you to come back to the stadium again, and that's the way it's going to be in the future. From what I've read,
they have to find a way. They have to have that revenue stream. At the same thing, let me ask you, as a guy that follows college sports, do you think college athletes should get paid?
Well, Dave, it's going to happen. I think it's a slope, in my opinion, and here's why I'm going to say that.
I mean, you're not gonna be able to do that and then say, oh well, yeah, they're strictly amateur. Well, yeah, they're strictly amateur, but college costs. I'm sorry, all that counts. And then when you factor in that they make money from their likeness on video games, I mean, sorry, dude, you know what? Hey, I'm Kevin Durant. I was a star at Texas. Now you can play me on a video game, but I ain't making no money from it.
Right.
I mean, sorry, that's wrong. That's just wrong.
Well, and the reason that I bring it up, Dave, is okay. So here's the thing with that, and it's going to point more towards college basketball and college football, and maybe college baseball, because the 3 of them are pretty much the money makers for most universities around.
Right.
But here's the thing: you're going to pay a college athlete, but remember now, you can't pay a football player, basketball player, even a baseball player more than a swimmer or a track star or a lacrosse player or whatever other sports that are out there playing in collegiate sports. That's why I think it's going to be a slippery slope, because now, okay, so I'm one of the top rowing people in the country, and I get recruited to USC out in California. I'm just pulling an university out. And now you're paying a college football player, I'm going to just, throw a number out there. You get them $15,000 a year, but a rower only gets $5,000. So why am I going to pursue that when this guy's getting $10,000 more a year when I'm going to the same school? I'm going to classes just like he or she is, but I'm getting paid $10,000 less because the revenue for the road team is not as high as, say, the TV rights for football or basketball.
Right.
So that's where I think they're going to have to adjust things. Do I think college athletes need to be paid? No. And I'll tell you, because, again, it's an amateur thing. You're doing it for the love of the game, not so much to be paid. Now, we all know that not everyone that plays college sports moves on to the pros. It's a very small percentage that move on to play. I was at the East-West Shrine game here in St. Petersburg, Florida last year, one of the final, tune-up college games that the college players play after their bowl game, to be seen by an NFL scout or by the NFL teams to get a shot at maybe a pro day or a draft day, whatever, to be seen one last time to maybe bring their draft status up a little higher. But not everyone got drafted. I mean, that's just the way it goes. It's just sometimes.
Yeah, not everybody's going to do it. It's like the combine now. Back in the day. I mean, back in the day, like maybe 10 years ago, you went to the combine, and I mean, everybody went to the combine, and now there's guys that are just like, oh no, you know what? You can check me out on my pro day. Really? So there's a specialty now. So I mean, it's I don't know. I think college athletes should be paid. I mean, but how much they get paid, that's going to be a rough factor. I mean, because there's a lot of college, like the bowl games for football, schools get paid when they go to those. Well, now, see, if you're going to pay the school, some of that money should be filtered down to the people that are actually playing the game